Hello and welcome to another video by Rick Miracle, me, in my series Freemasonry and Satanism. This is a book review 328. It's October 28th, 2020, Wednesday. Only days away till the United States presidential election. It's a hot election. If President Donald Trump wins another term, let's call it 50% of America will be angry, frustrated, outraged. We'll probably see more protests, riots, stuff like that going on. Who knows? If he loses and we get Joe Biden, a lot of Republican, Christian people on the right will be angry. And so there's no winning in this election. And lately that's been the case. It's been seriously frustrating for many people in America for a long time. Why do we get these choices for leaders? Aren't there better men out there and women? Apparently not. Anyways, I've been focusing my research, if you've been watching my videos lately, whether it's the year 2020 Rick Miracle Report videos or the Freemasonry and Satanism book reviews, I've been circling around who's behind this pursuit of a new world order, global world order, and the destruction of the existing reality, communism, Christianity. Who's behind all of this propaganda, gay rights parade? Who sponsors all that? Feminist movements, and it's all financed and sponsored and organized and cost a lot of money. And the Black Lives Matter and the Antifa, even the white supremacist events, it's all for public consumption, meant to mess with our perception of reality, make us believe things are true that are not true. So weird how it turned into the white privilege racism issue, the Black Lives Matter and the oppression of the black people issue, and all over the world. Black Lives Matter protest in Britain, London, Australia, and all of this is going on. So like I said, it's highly organized, lots of evidence of that there's a lot of issues, questions about the worldwide lockdown. But I can't say anything about that in this video because series number 77 and 79 of the year 2020 Rick Miracle Reports was on that topic, and they won't let the videos be published. So I'll just not say anything. But this information I'm going to talk about may be just as disturbing to the powers that be, who probably do not want this information out there. I will say this. This information I'm going to talk about is going to be disturbing to anybody who watches it, decent people, Christian people, other religious people, because it's just insane, the forces that are attacking humanity. And the satanic revolutionary forces will be angry because they don't want other people to know what's going on, the truth behind it. So you got this dialectic going on, this two opposing things going on, good and evil. They'd like you to think that's the way it is with the Democrats and Republicans, good and evil. And it depends on which side you're on. If you're on the Republican side, the Democrats are evil. But if you're on the Democratic side, they would have you believe the Republicans are evil. And the same thing with the Black Lives Matter. They would say that white people need to apologize for the oppression, enslavement, and all of that of the black people. And, of course, let's not forget the big wall between the United States and Mexico. and the previous president, the Obama administration, with sanctuary cities, was catering to all of these illegal immigrants. And so they were favored by the powers that be. And then we got President Donald Trump, and they were not favored by the powers that be. So this whole situation with 4 years of Donald Trump catering, so it seems, to the Christian religious right, I don't believe that's true, but that's the appearance of it, will be reversed again, and it'll go back to catering to the left, satanic left, so it appears. And of course, not all Democrats are on the dark side, and not all Republicans are on the good side. Many of them are on the dark side. So it's a confusing discussion, and I've been focusing on who, what, and why. The Kabbalah, the secret societies, the Illuminati, the conspiracy theories about the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, the Club of Rome, the Bohemian Grove, the Bilderberger groups, and so much more. Council of Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission, the Financial District in London, a separate entity to itself, Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, a separate entity unto itself, and the Rome, the Vatican, a separate entity under itself. Apparently those three groups are working in cahoots to convert the world into a communist world, and communism explicitly dictates that there will be no religion allowed in the communist New World Order, and no property rights and all of that. And then, of course, the Rockefeller with that one document Deborah Travers exposed in 2010 called Lockstep. Get it? Lockstep. You ever seen an army of men in line marching lockstep? So the Rockefeller Lockstep document means they're going to have everybody in the world being compliant, obedient, in lockstep. Communism. And it may be days away. It may be already here. We're in a worldwide lockdown. So anyways, I've been following up on my leads on this research. And one of my favorite places to go is the archive.org or the Yahoo Images. And I did make a 15-minute video clip, picture clip on Yahoo Images on the word Satanism in the USA. So I just thought I'd look at some pictures by going to Yahoo image site and putting in there Satanism in USA, and it's an eye-opener. You can't deny what is going on. And it is serious, life and death serious. The Republic of America is going to fall if it hasn't already fallen. This is serious. I can't emphasize it anymore. And I've been reading this new book that I discovered the past couple days, and it is disturbing as well as serious. It's a video that I prefer never to have to make. But the question is, do I have the courage to have this conversation or not? Do the people watching this video have the courage to watch this video, and after they watch it, to make a decision or not? Remember, when it's all over, you don't have a chance to do it again. The reality that's coming, you can't say you didn't see it coming. You can't say, I wish I'd known, I'd have done something. Let's say you even die in this event that's coming, these riots and protests and food shortages and revolution and World War III, whatever is going to happen. And you are a spiritual being. And you get out of this reality, your physical body is dead. And you get to the spiritual world where there's a decision made whether you go up, as the demon statue shows us, or you go down, as above, so below. And apparently even the statue of George Washington, the first president of the United States, has him holding his hand up and a sword down, and apparently some satanic symbols on his chair in the Washington Monument building in Washington, D.C. So these people have been playing mental games with us for a long time. But when you die and you get judged, and I believe we all do, but I know that they have taught a lot of people that that's not true. And you're going to be asked, did you know this was going on? Did you try to stop it? Did you say anything? Did you do anything? What are you going to say? And I know a lot of people watching my videos and other people's videos, it's like I'm speaking to the choir. And so there are other people out there that need to get these pieces of information, whether it's a website, a lecture, a document, a video, whatever. You need to take a little step and try to wake people up, even if they get angry with you. Because it's going to take a little bit of a whole lot of a push to change what's about to happen for it not to happen. To reverse direction is going to take a little bit of work. You got a freight train coming down the tracks, and you're going, oh my goodness, it's going to run into the train station. You got to stop it and turn it around. Find out it has a nuclear bomb on the train. Not only do we have to stop it, we got to get it out of town. And that takes a lot of work to stop a train. And more work to get it going, to go back and get it going fast to get it out of town. That's the kind of effort that's needed right now to reverse direction where we are. So anyways, I don't mean to be so emotional, but I've made my point. We need to do something. Anyways, the document I found, that I didn't know that this particular person had written this kind of books maybe. I know I found out that he did publish one book titled How to Find Anyone in America Without Leaving Your Home. And he was an FBI investigator, an FBI chief, a leader of the FBI department in Los Angeles, in California, covering several cities. So I don't think just anybody gets to be the FBI chief. And if you are the FBI chief, you know things. And he learned things, and apparently in the reality we live in, the people at the higher level know things. They know what's going on. They plan what's going on. But they can't help it if some of their subordinates, the people they put into high positions, wakes up and does not want to go along and wants to go warn the world. And then those people usually experience a retribution or a destruction or discrediting or even assassination. As President John Kennedy said before he was assassinated in his famous speech, that secret societies are repugnant to the American way of life, and I intend to expose them. So if you are taking notes when you're watching my videos or anybody else's, and you should be, and if you don't download the videos, they probably won't be there. So you should be downloading the videos. And if you go to press releases that are alarming information, deceptive information, you should be saving it to your computer, copy and pasting, or saving the page. They'll allow you to save the internet page onto your computer. You don't even have to print it out. But I like to print out hard copies, because pretty soon you won't have the evidence available just to go on the internet and get it. So while you can, get it. Anyways, I go to archive.org and I continue to be amazed what I find. And what I found: corruption, the Satanic Drug Cult Network, and Missing Children. Volume 1. The Gunderson Report, presented by Ted L. Gunderson. 205 pages. And I did go buy recently a binding machine, $37. And I bought some of these it comes with these binding spirals, but a 100-pack for, I think, 90-page documents. So I had to go buy some for a 200-page document and a 150-page document. It says on the machine the different sizes and the number of pages you can do. And they're about $5, $6, $7 for a box of each size. 2 to 20 pages, 20 to 40 pages, 40 to 70 pages, 70 to 90 pages, 90 to 120, 120 to etc., etc. You can see it on there. So it's only $5 or $6 for a box of each of these, of the different sizes. $37 for the binding machine. It's real simple. And when you go on archive.org, you can get all these books, free PDFs. So you don't have to go buy anything after that, except for paper and ink. FYI. And I couldn't do this with the regular printers. But I have the Epson you can go buy at the depot where they sell office supplies, or Staples, whatever. And they have those tank, where you fill up the tank in the printer. The Epson ET2760, and there's a couple of them. But they sell the 3 or 4 bottles of ink. You just fill up the tank. And they're only a couple $100, but apparently you can do 4,000 pages for a couple $100. $37 for the binding machine, and the $6, $7 for the different sizes of these things. Because it's archive.org, and on the internet in general, looking up PDF documents, like the report from Iron Mountain, 1967 or something. The elite got together a bunch of scientific men and said we need to have a plan to control the patriotism and the loyalty of the American citizens when the threat of war goes away, because they had the 2 nuclear explosions in Japan. And so the threat of war seemed not prevalent, because nobody wanted to be nuked. So they had to have another way, the report from Iron Mountain, to keep the people patriotic and alarmed and in fear. So they needed the protection of their leaders. So the book details environmental destruction, sustainability, terrorism, and of course we've seen the threat of global cooling, global warming, climate change, and the propaganda with all the protests, with racism and social justice and feminism and anti-religious propaganda, gay rights and all of that. The people who want the global world order have been pulling all the tools out of the deception toolbox. So I've been reading this, and it's just totally blown me away. And I must say this as a warning. If you're going to investigate Satanism, you will be sincerely disappointed, because it is seriously disturbing. You will regret what you find. You do not want those images and pictures in your head. But the disturbing part is, it is going on. Satanism. And apparently it is a religion. And apparently there's no question. The secret societies, Freemasons, Albert Pike said Lucifer was their deity. The Kabbalist, demonism, Illuminati, Satanism, United Nation, an occult organization putting the Archway of Baal, a demon, B-A-A-L, in New York and London and 1,000 other cities all over the world. And the Communist Manifesto, written by Karl Marx and Frederick Engels in 1848, who was commissioned by the Rothschilds banking dynasty, dictates unquestionably that there's no allowance for religions in the New World Order, the communist world. So they will have to, if you know anything about revolutions, when they manage to topple a country, they have to go through that country and get all of the loyal citizens to the previous leader, the king or the monarch or the president or the prime minister, whoever it was, and you know, a whole political party and all the followers. So theoretically, and they have to purge them, kill them, execute them, behead them, whatever. So apparently, if we change presidential parties in the next election, and they have this revolution, and the Satanists are in charge of distributing justice, and obtaining revenge, it could be an insane reality. And it looks like it's planned. It looks like it's coming. And I've been trying to figure out a way to understand this worldwide religion that's coming, a Kabbalah type of religion. And if you go on Yahoo image site and look up U.S. President signs Noahide laws, on the Yahoo image site, President signs Noahide laws, you will see the U.S. President surrounded by rabbis with their little beards and black outfits signing the Noahide laws. If you look up the Noahide laws, you will see that the first law is that it is a crime to worship a false deity. So if the Satanists get in charge, and apparently they are in charge now, and they are anti-Christian, anti-Jesus, then anybody who continues to believe and want to worship Jesus will be a criminal, a crime called heresy, and it dictates in the Noahide laws the punishment is beheading. Too much to say. So anyways, and we've had all of these rituals, apparently blood rituals, false flag events, and accusations of Jeffrey Epstein, child porn, pedophilia, even snuff films. So apparently they engage in activities with young children, and in the middle of those activities they viciously kill them. Again, this is not a pleasure video, but it's true, and I can prove it. Anyways, it does seem that it's been going on, and I've been reading this book for a couple days, Mr. Ted Gunderson's material. So anyways, I've been trying to understand. I've been down to the Yucatan, right here, in Mexico, with the Mayans. And historically, in the past, they had those pyramids. And if you've ever seen it in some of the movies, they drag some poor soul up there, and they cut him open and yank out his beating heart, if you've watched Indiana Jones movies. And then they cut off the head and roll it down the steps, and the men and women down there in a frenzy run after the head. Everybody wants to take the head home. And then the body, and apparently in some cultures all over the world they eat it, and it's insane. So there's no shortage of sacrificial rituals, sacrificing rituals in many cults all over the world. And in Europe, one of the accusations against the Jewish people, not all Jewish people, was blood rituals. They would find the dead bodies, usually with pinholes all over the body, and they would drain the blood into buckets and drink it or make food with it in some of their satanic Kabbalah rituals. So, a lot of people don't want to believe it. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you can believe it. And I've been trying to understand. I'm a Christian. I think I'm a scientist, and I understand physics. And, we want to understand, what is it that why do they do this? And I've been reading this book, and I've made videos on Aleister Crowley's book, and a couple other books on these kinds of topics. And I have to caution you, if you read Aleister Crowley's material online, you get the book, or other topics, never, ever speak the incantations, the invocations, whatever it is, the mantras. Never say that stuff aloud. You better have a cross in your hand or a cross around your neck in a love of Jesus Christ and knowing who you are if you're even going to go look at this stuff. You need the shield of God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit. You need it. You have to confess that Jesus is my Savior. If you're going to go look at this stuff and you're going to dabble in this stuff, you're very susceptible to becoming possessed. Just a warning. And if you look into it, I want you to watch my video, and I'm going to restrict it because I don't want to disturb people more than I have to make the point that this is serious. We need to know this information. But if you need further proof and you want to go look it up, and I know there's young people out there, be careful. This is dangerous material. Satanism. And these are the people that are going to be controlling the world at the end of the day with this worldwide lockdown, and financial experts all over the world in the Wall Street Journal financial section on Yahoo Financials. Just go to yahoo.com and click the financial icon. Go to Google and click the financial icon, or MSN or AOL or anywhere, any place you can see the Wall Street ticker and the stocks going up and down. And you'll see that these experts are warning about a financial collapse. So what do you suppose happens when we have a financial collapse where nobody has any money? They're not going to give everybody free food and free electricity and keep everything the status quo the way it was. It's not going to happen. They didn't do all of what they have done for that to happen. And in the Bible, it does prophesize the arrival of an antichrist and an antichrist system and the destruction of the world because of a huge falling away of God in the church, whatever religion you are, Islamic, Buddhist, Hindu, Christian. People are falling away from their religions and decency in God and going with the New Age, do as thou wilt. You can do anything. There's no such thing as sin. No such thing as wrong. You've heard these terms. The first commandment in Christianity and other religions is thou shalt not kill. We've been killing people like there's no tomorrow. After 9/11, all those people slaughtered in the Middle East. And all those people in the Middle East were not involved in 9/11, if any of them were. But citizens don't want to be responsible and see the truth and take action. Again, that's a questionable crime when you wind up in heaven against your soul, your karma. Doing nothing is apparently aligning yourself with the people who are doing the evil thing. What's the old saying? When good men do nothing, evil men reign. So doing nothing is not a choice. I mean, you can do nothing, but the world's going to have this big event. Whether you do something or not, you're going to die eventually. So the question is, what kind of person do you want to be when you get over into the spiritual realm? A hero or a criminal in the spiritual world? I mean, think about it. You got this one chance. And I don't encourage any violence. My weapon, I believe in, is prayer. and talking to other people and sharing, because there are many more of us. Billions of us and only thousands of them. But nobody wants to recognize the fact that we are the majority, and we're letting these few less than 1%ers own 99% of the world's assets and money and control mechanisms, because people just want to go out there and enjoy their lives and make some money and buy a house with a swimming pool, birthday party, football games, whatever. And a lot of them joining the New Age propaganda. So getting all that said, why, and I can't share too much of this 205-page book, and apparently I want to show you where I got this, but one topic I'd like to make clear. Why do they sacrifice people? And I did do some of the material, and here's some of the topics in the book. Introduction, Satanism, Ritual, Child, Sexual Abuse, Human Sacrifice. Aleister Crowley, The Law is for All. Aleister Crowley, Magic in Theory and Practice. And a synopsis, newspapers and magazine articles dealing with Satanism. Tales of Satanism, Mark molestation cases, Los Angeles Times, December 13th, 1987. Satanic crime is on the rise, Examiner, March 7th, 1989. Police note rise in satanic crime, Los Angeles, September 29th, 1986. More cases of ritual abuse, San Francisco Chronicle. Police mull charges against cultists, Boston Herald, 1988. Lawyer kidnap may have satanic link, Reading, California, 1989. MP spells out witchcraft worries. That would be the London officials. London, England, 1988. Letter to the editor, Child Abuse Daily Press, Victorville, California, March 29, 1989. No shortage of information. KGO-TV, San Francisco, California, Programs of Satanism. Adult Survivors' Statements, all in this 205-page book. Results of studies by psychologists, psychiatrists, and psychotherapists. Profile of ritualistic and religion-related abuse allegations reported to clinical psychologists in the United States by Betty Bottoms, Philip Shaver, Gail Goodman, 1991. Satanic Cult Ritual Abuse by Kathy Snowden, 1988. Letter report by Roland Summit, medical doctor, to the Committee on Child Abuse Prevention regarding rituals abuse in children, 1988. Multiple personality disorders. Don't get into the satanic stuff. You can become possessed. And they do mind control and torture people to create multiple personalities. And the United States government has been involved in that under MK Ultra, Project Montauk, and many other organizations. Childhood Antecedents of Multiple Personality, Richard Clough, MD, PhD, editor. The mind control aspect of the satanic activity, from PSYOP to Mind War, the Psychology Victory, by Colonel Paul Valet with Major Michael Aquino. That's the major in the Army who is a member of the Church of Satan. LSD experiment cost U.S. $750G, New York Post, 1988. No shortage of material in this book, and I'm going to show you where you can get it for free. Tunnels found under the McMartin Preschool, California. So for 30 years, the Satanists have been operating the preschool, doing horrible things to children. Preliminary report by Gary Stickle, PhD, archaeologist, and Ted Gunderson, project coordinator. Experts charge evidence suppressed in child molestation case. The Spotlight magazine, 1992. Charles Buckley, No Secret Rooms on Campus. The Daily Breeze. Looking at my time here. 34 minutes. Alright, okay. The Daily Parent of Preschooler tells horror story account of Jackie McGully. A summary of McMartin preschool scandal, newspaper article. Missing children, missing 100,000 children a year, Reader's Digest, 1982. Stolen children, Newsweek, March 19th, 1984. Contract killers operating a satanic cult drug network. Contract killers. So I guess if people want somebody killed for a small amount of money, they have people who do that. The Charlie Conspiracy, Los Angeles Magazine, 1988. The Cotton Club Murder, Strange Bedfellows in Hollywood, The New Federalist, 1989. CIA License to Kill Denied, Hudson Dispatch. So when I discovered this book by Ted Gunderson, I was just amazed. And if you know what I've been doing for years, I find the material in book form and read the book and make book reviews because these books become obscure. People don't know what's going on. And I've done my part, I think, to try to get the word out. Police awareness of the satanic cult problem. Satanism, the law enforcement response. Pennsylvania State Police, missing persons. San Francisco Police report. All this is in this book. Attempts by police to minimize or possibly cover up the problem. Seattle Police Department memorandum, 1989. Satanic occult ritualistic crime. The law enforcement perspectives by FBI supervisor Kenneth Lanning, the police chief, 1989. Interview Ted Gunderson, FBI's Lanning sides with Satan's. So the FBI is covering up the Satanism and doesn't want to prosecute the stuff. Says former top bureau official, National, 1990. So there's no doubt that Satanism is going on. And there's no doubt in my mind. Here's the next page. Introduction. Satanism, ritual, child, sexual abuse, and human sacrifice. To understand the philosophy of Satanism in ritual, child, sexual abuse, read the following excerpts from Aleister Crowley's book, The Law is for All. And that's all I'm going to share from this book, because I have some other stuff to share, is try to focus just a little bit on Aleister Crowley, who wrote a book, the Book of the Law, and some other books, who was involved in these kinds of activity. Apparently, he was actually known as the most evilest man alive, Aleister Crowley. The report demands a solution to one of the most serious problems in America today. Someone must listen. Something must be done. So before I go any further and try to tell people why they sacrifice people and children and sex with people and children. Why? It's the opposite. If this is Christianity, and you have the Christian commandments, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt believe in one God. I'll just use those four. The opposite is true for Satanism. There was more than one God. God is not God. Their God is God. Thou shalt kill. That's actually their belief. Thou shalt steal. And thou shalt do adultery. When I mean adultery, from my perspective and opinion on this, is not exclusively just as a married man or woman having sex with another person, or with a married man or woman outside of her marriage. Adultery is, I use the word adulterated. It's just things that are just adulterated, things that are just obviously wrong, decadent, sinister. More words are not coming to my mind, but just downright, what's that word I'm thinking about? So it's the opposite. It's sex with animals. Apparently, according to one document I read, some lady married a bridge, and the bridge, they had a name for the bridge. A bridge. You go across the bridge. And the name of the bridge was Diablo. Diablo means devil. Another guy apparently really loved his dog. He married his dog. Decadent. Adulterated. Sinful. Ugly. Wrong. Sex with children. Sex with babies. I know this is disturbing. But it's important people grasp the fact that this is the mentality of the people who will be controlling our world completely soon, probably mostly now. And they've been working for years at it. So again, we get back to the question, Rick, why do they do that? I don't get it. And most of us don't get it. It's hard for a God-loving, even if you don't believe in God, but you're believe in a healthy family and family values and ethics and morals, it's hard for good people to understand the thinking of bad people and mentally ill people. But we need to understand. We need to know that it exists, and it is growing, and it's been growing because it's been intentionally grown by the evil forces trying to disturb and mind control and use propaganda to make us believe what we believe. They want us to believe false truth. I can't know if I make my point strong enough. But before I go on and read from this Aleister Crowley information why they do it, I want to share what I've done. I've been reading this book. Let me just go forward in this book a little bit and just show you a little bit of something. He's got a lot of pages in this book about events. Remember, he was a FBI chief, an investigator. He ran the whole department. So there's just a ton of stuff in here about excerpts from the newspapers and stuff like that. So I'm obviously sort of a skeptic. You know, I want to go verify, is this really true? This is too unbelievable. So I've been doing some research, and I accidentally found his book. I was continuing to do my Kabbalah, communist, Illuminati type research. And when you go on archive.org, you sometimes accidentally come across the book that you go, OMG, I got to take a look at that. And that's what happened in this case. And if you want to find this book, you just look up Ted Gunderson. You can see it right there, Ted Gunderson. And you look for this particular book right here in the center of this video. Corruption, the Satanic Drug Cult Network, Missing Children, Volume 1. Apparently it's 650 pages, and Volume 1 is 105. But when I downloaded this PDF document, it was all 650 pages. So it's Volume 1, 2, and 3 all in this one download. And I did watch this morning, let's see this one video. The truth behind the Twin Towers. Just trying to see if it's here. Which was the truth behind the World Towers in 1983. He was an FBI agent. So there's so much here if you look up Ted Gunderson. Videos and documents, books. This is the one he published. How to locate anyone, anywhere. Focus. And there's several pages of results here. So when I share what I share, and there's all kinds of videos here to watch. Ted Gunderson. And another edition of that book here. So for free at archive.org. I've got nothing to do with archive.org. I feel bad for the fact that I do believe at some point they'll have to deny access to this kind of material. You ever read the book 1984? So what I did reading his book, I went through all those pages because I just showed you something. And what I showed you, these clippings in his book, are kind of hard to read. And I wanted to verify if they were true or not. In this 205 book, actually 650 pages, but I just did volume 1. So I have all these clippings in this book. But they're not quite clear enough. So what I did is I made this binder. See how many pages are in there? And the first page is the where you can find this book right here on archive.org, Corruption, center of this video, for free at archive.org, looking up Ted Gunderson. Very important. I can't give you enough material from this book in 1.5 hours. But I can show you that all the topics, the titles of those newspaper clippings, I went and did some searches. The children's macabre testimony sometimes derails prosecution. So a lot of the prosecution cases against the Satanist sacrificing children or exposed daycare centers and child sex and all of the evil things they do, the Justice Department's internal watchdog has sent a criminal referral for fired FBI official Andrew McCabe. So a lot of it, there was some of the FBI agents willing to expose it, and in many cases, because of the higher-ups that control our world, they don't want that information out to the public. So I got a big, thick book here of tales of Satanism, Mark molestation cases, children's macabre testimony sometimes derails prosecution. So I looked up the things that were in Ted Gunderson's book. The hard facts about satanic ritual abuse. So you can pause this, write this down, by Bob and Gresham Pasantinio. And this one here is 23 pages. Wikipedia, satanic ritual abuse, if you want to understand why they do it, and the history of some cultures doing human sacrifices in black mass. And it's all in here, and it's 27 pages. So it is, if you can handle the truth and you're good with God and your soul, I encourage you to read it. Do not practice it. Satanic crime is on the rise. I looked that up. Here's all the results. Crime is surging in U.S. cities, so they are messing with the social structure of America. Apparently, another results. So when I do those searches and I find some certain results, I print them out. Exorcist wanted as number of satanic murders on the rise. And that's 5 pages, you can see on the bottom. So I spent days doing my research while reading Ted Gunderson's book. They called her Satan's cop. So apparently there was one police officer, a lady, who specialized in satanic incidences where they found dead bodies and accusations of daycare centers and sex with the children organized. And so it's all available for anybody to find. Hail Satan, students met with public masturbation, class hurled as they pray outside an abortion clinic. 6 pages. So it's all organized. Cop Sandy Gallant, Satan sleuths. So this is the lady here, Sandy Gallant, trying to expose these child sex witch hunt. Mitchell remembers the satanic panic, the unsolved Leroy Carter Jr., the morbid library. So all kinds of search results and evidence here that this is an overwhelming problem in the United States and the world. Once scoffed at by peers, political experts in occult crime, now are frighteningly in demand. 1989. So when you see these false flags and 911 and all this stuff going on, and our leaders, what do you do when you have satanic cult leaders running the world? Police note rise of satanic crime, September 29th. So I was looking up all the things I was seeing in Ted Gunderson's book, just to show that apparently his book is honest. Rise in satanic crimes among the black youth. Dabbling in the dark arts. And of course everybody's seen all the body piercings and the demonic tattoos on people and the abuse of drugs everywhere. And the elite are in that business. So they are trying to destroy our reality. Police note rise of satanic crime. So I'm looking at my clock here. I want to play my clip and try to explain Aleister Crowley's reasoning for sacrificing and sex with children. More cases of ritual abuse by Edward Limpian. Pages and pages of this stuff. So you can see me. This is 16 pages of this document worth reading. Daycare and child abuse cases. And you can find that at ritualabuse.us, ritual abuse. So www.ritualabuse.us. 16 pages. Police mull over charges against cultists. So this is hitting police departments all over the world, and particularly the United States. And apparently when they have a sacrifice of a child, you can purchase portable crematoriums. So I guess if for a child, you got a portable crematorium. And if it's a larger human, I guess you have to separate the body from the arms and the legs and put it in this oven and burn everything so there's no human body for anybody to find. And the police or the FBI said if there's no body, there's no crime. How can we prosecute somebody if there's no body? So if you go to these satanic occult stores, you can buy portable crematoriums. Presidio's sex abuse case in California. "12 real crimes involving modern-day witches and witchcraft." So I spent days reading Ted Gunderson's book. And some of it will make you sick. Satanic group says Christmas in the park, visitors are stealing ornaments from its holiday display. So you probably wonder, what kind of ornaments would the Satanists have at the park? So they got little things hanging from the tree like little devils. I kid you not. I did take my camera and take a picture because the computer wouldn't let me print it out. Satanist Children Ministry announces plans to teach the tenets of Satanism to students at Tennessee public schools who don't want to take part in the government-backed Bible study. So there is an ongoing battle in our reality from these groups of people. The Satanic Children's Ministry of Knoxville, Tennessee. I just want to show you what I've been doing the past couple days, reading this book. And some of it is just too obnoxious to share. It's the things that... There are people that have been involved in these witchcraft groups, satanic cults, all over the United States and the world, who come to their senses and escape. Then maybe they go to a psychiatrist or a police officer, somebody who will listen. And they tell them what happened during the rituals of a child or an adult. And it's horrific. And apparently it's widespread. And I think it's the tip of the iceberg. So watch this video clip, and I'll read from Aleister Crowley and try to briefly explain why this particular religion needs to kill, and not just kill. It has to be torture and violent, vicious death. It has something to do with your soul and your energy. And also perverted orgy-type sex and all of that stuff. It has something to do with the beings behind the veil and out of this reality, spiritual beings, demons. Crazy. See this clip. Hello and welcome to another video clip by Rick Miracle. Me. Anyways, it is October 28th, 2020. Days away from the presidential election in America, we have two choices: President Donald Trump or ex-Vice President Joe Biden. If you look up either of those men's past, we really have been given some questionable choices. President Donald Trump, of course, is a real estate developer, casino operator, apparently someone who had a Kabbalah teacher. His ex-wife wrote a book on the Kabbalah. His son married a Jewish woman. His daughter married a Jewish man. And President Donald Trump recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. And he is the conservative, logical choice if you consider Vice President Joe Biden, with all of the material that has come out about Hillary Clinton and recently about him and his son Hunter. We live in a crazy world. We have to vote for the lesser of the two evils, and in the last election, that's exactly what I did. I voted for President Donald Trump, and I was traumatized to do it. But I suppose I'll have to do it again, as crazy as it seems. But I've been continuing my research, and I have been focusing on lately, if you've been watching my videos, the COVID worldwide lockdown and the number 77 in the year 2020 Rick Miracle report. It keeps getting stuck in processing. Apparently on BitChute, somebody is stopping its publication. Why would they do that? And my significant other, she said to me, Rick, why would they do that? We watch Max Egan and David Icke and many others, and they're saying the same things you are. So I told her, I said, well, I guess I'm just a a nobody, not important to them, not popular enough, so they dare to suppress me. What other choice could there be? So anyways, I made another video yesterday, year 2020 Rick Miracle Report, number 79, the COVID-19 update. And it's stuck in processing. So I think I might start looking for another place to put my videos because apparently the truth is not popular to the elite. The question is, who are the elite? And I've been focusing on Zionism, communism, the Illuminati, high-level Freemason, Rosicrucian, Satanism, and all this New World Order, globalisms, lots of isms, communism, globalism, Satanism. Seems to be some connection. So anyways, I was doing some research on archive.org, looking up some communist information. And I stumbled across a book, 650 pages, I guess that's a book. And the name of it is Corruption, the Satanic Drug Network and Missing Children. And apparently it says Satanic Drug Cult, Volume 1, the Gunderson Report, a series of 3 volumes on the most important threat to our children today. I would say the most important threat to men, women, and children today, presented by Ted Gunderson International. So if you don't know who Ted Gunderson is, I highly suggest you go look up his videos and his documents, presentations, books, whatever. But he was a FBI chief in San Francisco area, I believe. And he became aware of Satanism in America committing a lot of crimes, heinous crimes. So I was reading his book and I've been totally flabbergasted. You could also say it's scary. It's insane. I'm losing my voice here. It's insane. What is going on in America and the world right now? It's insane. So I thought I'd do a little Yahoo image picture review and share some information with people if they are not already aware of this information. But not too long ago, they tried to put this statue in front of the state building in Oklahoma, and the citizens rose up and objected to that. A lot of stuff in the newspapers and protesting. So they moved the statue to Detroit, and apparently they have a huge following in Satanism. A huge following in Satanism. So it is pretty sinister. You see these 2 little children looking up in awe at this devil with the hoofed feet and the horns and the 5-pointed star above its head. And he's saying with his fingers pointing up and pointing below, as above, so below. So a little message I should share there, as above, so below. So apparently, in my opinion, when you die, you either go above or you go below. As above, so below. So you get to go to heaven, this is my interpretation here, or you get to go to Hades, hell, below. And apparently, cosmic battle going on, the Luciferic, demonic, satanic forces are actually trying to destroy heaven. And they've taken over Earth, so they want to have Earth, the surface of Earth, like the underworld of Earth, hell, and I guess they'd like to get enough souls to conquer heaven. Just a theory. But apparently there's a huge following for Satanism. In my city, we have a building with these gargoyles on top. So a lot of cities have these statues of reptilian serpents. The occult and Satanism in America. And I'd like to point out, when you see these images, these pictures, you can click the link to the right and go to the website, the source of the image or picture, and read the details. Devil map of the United States. So apparently they have a lot of places. Mary Hell, Devil Lake, Devil Woodyard, Druid Bay. Druids. Winston Churchill was a high-level Druid. And, of course, Franklin Roosevelt during World War II was a high-level Freemason. And Albert Pike bragged that Lucifer was their deity. The devil. He doesn't look like the... So there are some information out there that the Statue of Liberty is actually a satanic entity. They deceive us. And these are some ancient pictures, I think, of Mithras. So there is a huge following, leaders across America, people into Satanism. Look at this billboard by the Satanist. Never be hit in school again. Exercise your religious rights. The Satanic Temple. ProtectChildrenProject.com. So I suppose they have exercised their constitutional rights to freedom of religion. And apparently their religion is Satanism. And apparently in Satanism they do human sacrifices. And I have the information. They do drugs. They sell drugs. They're into crime. These pictures, can you believe that? These nice people are into crime? Can you believe that? That's a rhetorical statement twice. Can you believe these people might be into crime? How about the people who control our government right now with the worldwide lockdown? This guy here was in the military, and he was a renowned Satanist, and the military, the army knew it, and he was a consultant for the military on issues related to doing evil things to people. So what do we have now? We have a Illuminati, Kabbalah, Satanist entities controlling the U.S. Will we get a new map like this? Or a new flag? Excuse me. So, when's the last time you've been to church? Bet your church didn't look like that. And they're all doing the devil sign. You see the forefinger and the pinky finger. And we've got pictures of politicians, George Bush, and so many other popular people doing the devil sign. So in America, we have a huge following of Satanists. And you see people dressed up like this in your city streets these days, everywhere. It's growing. And can you imagine if they do have a martial law, riots and panic in the cities and food shortages? These people probably will have a great time feasting on everybody else. Apparently, in the smoke of the Twin Towers, there was an image of a demon being. So all I gotta say is, we need to wake up. We need to wake up. Freemasons, high level, Albert Pike says that Lucifer's the deity. So apparently, is this Obama's ring, high-level Freemason? They've taken over the minds of the citizens of America, especially the youth, even the cartoons. I've seen it. So you can look at these pictures. When's the last time you were at church? I'll bet it was never like this. But apparently this is what's growing. So you can go to Yahoo image site, plug in Satanism in USA, look at the pictures, and I have to ask an honest question. Is this what you want to see in the future of the United States of America? Is this what you want to see in the future of the world? That's an honest question. It's a serious question. It's a must-be-asked question. Is this what people want? Is this what people want? Is this what people want? Hail Satan, it says on the right. The new church warns, we're facing a new dark age. Is this what people really want in America and the world? The sign of Baphomet, the official symbol of the Church of Satan, features the goat of Mendes inside an inverted pentagram. Next to this is the official U.S. Medal of Honor, featuring the same goat's head symbol with the goddess Minerva in the center. Yeah. You think we're in trouble? You think we're in trouble? You think we're in trouble? I'm going to end this picture. Oh my goodness. So, I showed you the research I've done on the internet. Newspapers all over the world. And those search results, many of them have millions and millions of results. So there's no shortage of proof that this is true. Interestingly enough, I made a video on Sabbatai Zevi, who in 1966, a Kabbalah rabbi declared himself the Messiah, a Messianic Messiah. And his commandments were the opposite of the good. This is the good. Was the opposite. So you should do adultery and killing and robbing and stealing. In 1666. Sabbatai Zevi. I made some videos on that book from a Kabbalah rabbi. I've been making videos on the Kabbalah. So I discovered something interesting, that if you read the Sabbatai Zevi book I've been going over, it says he's from Smyrna, like New Smyrna Beach in Florida, Smyrna. 1666, Sabbatai Zevi, from Smyrna. It probably doesn't mean much, but I read a lot and I remember things. So if you go to the Bible and you read Revelation 2.9 and 3.9, Jews who call yourselves Jews but are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan, and you go back 2 paragraphs, the people he's talking about in the Bible, it says, ye of Smyrna. I kid you not. I noticed it, and I told my significant other, I said, she was asking me about that book, and she was looking at it, and she goes, where's Smyrna? And I'm remembering reading Revelations in the Bible about Smyrna. And so the 1666 Messiah, the satanic Messiah, who came to earth, declared himself Messiah. And a lot of Jewish people say he's a false Messiah. But there's a huge following calling in themselves Frankists, Sabbatans, and Illuminati, and a lot of these mystery cults. Just saying, another little interesting connection. Revelation 2.9 and 3.9. In the Bible it says, ye of Smyrna, I know who you are. You call yourself Jews, but are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. Definitely connecting it to Satan, Smyrna. And the Kabbalah Jewish rabbi from 1666 was from Smyrna. You think that's a coincidence? So anyways, I'm going to try to be brief and tactful in my explanation of what's next. And why they do these evil things. So the following are excerpts from The Law of All is for All, Aleister Crowley, 1986. Moreover, the Beast 666 advises that all children shall be accustomed from infancy to witness every type of sexual act. That's in Aleister Crowley's book. So the Beast 666, remember Sabbathans Zevi declared himself the Messiah, the Beast Messiah, in 1666. And then it's mentioned in Revelation, it's the synagogue of Satan. And Aleister Crowley, the Satan's commandments are the opposite of God's and Jesus' 10 commandments, Moses' commandments. So Aleister Crowley says that all children, this is your new world order coming, shall be accustomed to, from infancy, as an infant, to witness every type of sexual act, as also the process of birth. So the children, the infants, have to witness an actual birth. Lest falsehood, fog, and mystery stupefy their minds, whose error might else thwart or misdirect the growth of their subconscious system of soul symbolism. So they need to affect the soul of the infant with being exposed to actual sex. And apparently in the witchcraft cults, they take the infants and they have to watch the vicious sacrifice of a human, which isn't just simply killing, it's a long, drawn-out, horrific event. While the human is alive, cutting the body up into piece by piece, nose, eyes, ears, tongue, lips, and so much more, genitals, while the person is alive. And they have children and other people watching. It gives you goosebumps if you think about it. And I do not like making this video. But these are the people who will be ruling our world. These people that have been accused of ritual sacrifice for thousands of years. The Spanish Inquisition, the banishment of certain people would wear tiny little hats all over Spain, France, Britain, Germany, Italy, and they fled towards Russia, Poland, Ukraine. And of course, not all those people were into the Kabbalah. Many Jewish people are adherent to the Old Testament and love and believe in God and the 10 Commandments. So it's not a Jewish issue. It's some Jewish people who are not Jews at all, because you can't be Jewish and do these things, because if you're Jewish and the 10 Commandments that Moses gave them is not the same as the religion they're following. So they're not Jews, but they call themselves Jews. But apparently they are behind the secret societies that control our world, the banks and everything else, bringing us the worldwide lockdown and the Great Reset and the New World Order coming soon. And the people who are behind this, including the communists, in their book it specifically says, and I've gone over the government hearings on this, that they can't have any compromise or peaceful takeover. It has to be bloody and violent, and that is because, and I did question that reading that book on the government hearings in my video, I'm asking myself, why does it have to be violent and bloody? And I'm reading the information here in this book. When, where, and with whom ye will. So apparently the children have to have experienced sex, and the adults, when, where, and with whom ye will. The phrase with whom has been practically covered by the comment as ye will, do whatever you want. No need more to distinguish that the earlier phrase permits all manner of acts, the latter all possible partners. And if you have to, this book mentions the Aleister Crowley's book, known as The Evilest Man Alive. apparently buddies and pals with Jack Parsons, JP Laboratories, JLP Laboratories, the forerunner of NASA, and Ron Hubbard. So those three hung out together, Aleister Crowley, Jack Parsons, JPL Laboratories, JPL Laboratories, Jack Parsons Laboratories. And he was a rocket expert, and after that came NASA. And Ron Hubbard, we all know about him, and Dianetics and everything. So just interesting thinking here about the connections to the elite. And if you look at the NASA symbols, that if you're a police officer, you have a patch, and a military officer, you have a patch, and if you're an astronaut, you have a patch. And apparently there was a different patch for each launch, and many of those patches have reptilian beings on the patches. I spent 10 years working at a major aerospace company near Kennedy Space Center, and I remember looking at a whole wall of all those patches and all those reptilian beings and other 666 type of symbolism, satanic symbolism. FYI. All right, in real life, we have seen in our own times Oscar Wilde, Sir Charles Dink, Parnas, Canon Aikens, and countless others, many of them engaged in first-rate work for the world, all wasted because the mob must make believe to be normal. This phrase abolishes the 11th commandment. So apparently their 11th commandment is not to be found out. And Jesus added to the 11th commandment in the Bible, ye are to love one another. If you go look it up in the New Testament. So Jesus was preaching we should love one another, and these people, their 11th commandment is not to be found out. By authorizing incest, adultery, pedophilia, which everyone now practices with humiliating precautions, which perpetrate the schoolboy's enjoyment of the escapade, and make shame, shyness, cowardice, and hypocrisy the conditions of success for life. And it shows you the page number in his book here. So the last part on this page here, the misunderstanding of sex, the ignorant fear like a fog, the ignorant lust like a miasma, these things have done more to keep back humanity from the realization of itself and from the intelligent cooperation with its destiny than any other dozen things put together. The vileness and falseness of religion itself have been the monsters aborted from the dark womb of its infernal mystery. Page 124. And up above there is where he said in the center of this video that top paragraph, the infants must witness every type of sexual act. So they're affecting the consciousness of the child. Okay. And again, I don't want to read too much of this. It's just too much. I'm not trying to make I'm only reading my highlighted note here. There's a lot here to read, and of course you can pause the computer and read the rest that I do not read. Whatever your sexual predilections, your decisions, desires may be, you are free by the law of Thelma to be the star you are, to go your own way rejoicing. Remember, this is Satanism. Aleister Crowley. It may therefore be considered improper, as a general rule, for your sexual gratification to destroy, deform, and deplease any other star. Mutual consent to the act is a condition thereof. It must, of course, be understood that such consent is not always explicit, so you don't have to get the consent of the victim. There are cases where seduction or rape may be emancipation of initiation to another. Such acts can only be judged by their results. The next page. To understand the satanic philosophy on ritual human sacrifice, read the following excerpts from Aleister Crowley's book, Magic in Theory and Practice. So we're talking magic. And apparently the Jewish people who control the world today, not all Jewish people, the ones who control the world, not all Jewish people, are Kabbalah Jews and members of the Freemasons, Illuminati, and other groups. But you can get books on mysticism, Kabbalah, magic, and all of that, summoning beings, angels, and all of that. So to me, it is all one and the same, what I'm talking about. And the communist does call for a violent, bloody revolution. And I apologize if any of this disturbs you, but it is necessary to know. Of the bloody sacrifice and matters cognate, it is necessary for us to consider carefully the problems connected with the bloody sacrifice, for this question is indeed traditionally important. In magic, nigh all ancient magic revolves around the matter, and particularly of the Osirian religion. The rites of the dying god refer to this. The slaying of Osiris, Adonis, the mutilation of Attis, the cults of Mexico and Peru, the story of Hercules, Melkarth, the legends of Dionysus, Mithra, are all connected with this one idea. In the Hebrew religion, we find the same thing incalculated. So I did not make that up. You can see he's associating this with the Hebrew religion. The first ethical lesson in the Bible is that the only sacrifice pleasing to the Lord is the sacrificing of blood. Abel, who made this finding favor with the Lord, while Cain, who offered cabbages, was rather naturally considered a cheap sport. The idea reoccurs again and again. We have sacrifice of the Passover, following on the story of Abraham's being commanded to sacrifice his firstborn son, with the idea of the substitution of animal for human life. The annual ceremony of the two goats carries out in perpetuality, and we see again the domination of this idea in the romance of Esther, where Haman and Mordecai are the two goats or gods, and ultimately in the presentation of the rite at Purim in Palestine, where Jesus and Barabbas happen to be the goats in that particular year, of which we hear so much without agreement to date. The subject must be studied in the Golden Bough, where it is most learningly set forth by Dr. J. Fraser. Some of it may seem innocuous, but there are some more here. I'm only reading my highlighted portions. Enough has now been said to show that the bloody sacrifice has from time immemorial been the most considered part of magic. So many people are into the New Age and study magic and the occult, and there's all these press releases, millions of them in the document I showed you in this book. So it's all about magic. However, there is a mystery concealed in this theory of bloody sacrifice, which is of great importance to the student. We therefore make no further apology. So the blood is the life. The simplest statement is explained by the Hindus by saying that the blood is the principal vehicle of the vital prana. So I've said this before in previous videos, got a fly flying around, that if your soul left your body would just plop over dead. You can't live without your soul. And there's been some research that says when you die, you lose a pound or two. The instant you die. So is there some weight to this energy that's in your body, like a charge on a battery? So apparently, I've read it here in this material. But apparently, if you torture somebody and violently kill them, there's some mechanism where you can entrap that spirit. You can entrap it. You can enslave it. Now, you probably say that's crazy, but there's more. Max Long went to Hawaii. I've gone over his books. To study the Hawaiian kahunas, the religious doctors, medicine men in Hawaii. And there was the technique of somehow capturing the souls of people who died and storing those souls in a dark place like a tree trunk. And this particular medicine doctor could call upon those souls to go possess somebody. It was a kind of a weapon for the Kabbalah witch doctors in Max Long's books on the kahuna religion in Hawaii. And they would possess the person, and the person would get something called a wasting disease. They would just start dying. And in Hawaii, the hospitals, doctors, everybody understands the Hawaiian religion. And they would recognize it. And the only way to call it off, there was no way to cure the person. Just saying other examples of what I've read here. Only other way is to go to see the witch doctor and threaten him and make him call the demons out of the person. So then you have, of course, the Mayans sacrificing humans up on the top of the hill, taking the heart out, beeping and all that. The practice of the Kabbalah magicians, and all the Jews got blamed for it throughout the Middle East for thousands of years. And then you have Moses guiding the Hebrews out of Egypt, and the Pharaoh and all his magic. And Moses went up to the mountain to talk to God to get the Ten Commandments and some other writings. He came down the mountain, and the Hebrews back then gathered all their gold together and built a golden calf, Moloch, mentioned in the Bible. And were worshiping it with a drunken orgy, sex. So they're worshiping Moloch the demon and having a drunken orgy, sex. Moses was so mad, it's in the Bible, he smashed the tablets. He had to go back up to the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights to get some more tablets. And he had to punish the Jewish people. Apparently they had to wander the desert for 40 years. Anyways, there's another example. So let me just read a little bit more here to show that there's this energy in us that these people want. And also, apparently, when you torture somebody, according to what I've been reading and my understanding of 15 years of research, trying to understand why they do these things. But apparently it's some kind of euphoric drug, like heroin or LSD. When you torture somebody, you release hormones in their body into their blood. So if you can torture them and not kill them, and then cut their throat or wherever, and drain that blood full of the hormones and you drink it, it's supposed to be some kind of crazy elixir, maybe even allowing you to see into the other dimension, which I've gone over Carlos Castaneda's books, who was a man from California who went down to Mexico and spent time with the Mexican shamans, taking peyote and other drugs, learning how to meditate and see these other entities all around us in the invisible realities. There's another example. Ayahuasca. David Icke went down to Peru. Oops. Down here. You know where Peru is. It's backwards. Sorry about that. Anyways, Peru. Right here. So David Icke even went there and many others, and they talk about taking ayahuasca and having visions and all of that. So there is this other world, and apparently the witchcraft and the elite, the high-level Freemasons and other innocent people that get dragged into this witchcraft. But I have to tell you, it's a horrific topic to investigate, but it's real. And so when they have this worldwide revolution, and it has to be violent and bloody, there's a spiritual aspect for the demonic underworld, heaven, hell. So the Bible's been trying to warn us about all this, and you can verify everything I'm saying. Anyways, one more paragraph and I'll be done with this conversation. It would be unwise to condemn as irrational the practices of those savages who tear the heart and liver from an adversary and devour them while yet warm. In any case, it was a theory of the ancient magicians that any living being is a storehouse of energy, varying in quantity according to the size and health of the animal, and in quality according to its mental and moral character. At the death of the animal, this energy is liberated suddenly. And it does say here in this material, the more innocent and young and pure a child is, when they do this, more energy is obtained. So there is a religion that wants the souls of men and women and children, and when they die, they go to this place like the Hawaiian kahunas, somehow during the death capturing the soul. And apparently part of that technique is through torture, if you wonder why our leaders are doing this. So there you have it. I accidentally came across, I don't know if I'll make another video on this material. I have so much here I've collected and reviewed. I can only share in this video that Satanism is real. There are many practitioners, satanic organizations all over the world. If you go on the internet, you're going to find the United States has thousands of them with little dots. Like if you look up FEMA camps, you'll find all these little dots. And you look up satanic organizations, thousands and thousands. And apparently they've affiliated with the police departments and leadership positions all over America and the world. So you can tell who will be put in charge of the horrific things planned to come, and the mental thinking and attitude of the people behind it. They don't have any mercy or empathy, and again, there's a reward for them to be violent and vicious. And if you read, and I've read in this book, which I do not care to read to you, some of the actual witnesses and descriptions of the witchcraft sacrifices, it's beyond words horrific. Multiply that times millions and millions and millions if they take over the world and do what they're going to do. Is that possible? It seems likely. So anyways, I was prompted by my conscience to make this video. Know where your heart is, because apparently the days of the trials are coming. Rick Miracle reporting.